Chapter 24, Subway Home. The subway train was nearly empty. Middle of the day, I think. Nobody wants to go to Brooklyn. I do, and I don't. 16 voice messages, 22 texts. My mom's mad. Ben shuts off his cell phone again. Do you think Sabine told? Probably, but she would have tried not to. Miss Garcia might have told the principal. It wasn't smart skipping school together. If I'd just been just me, she would have figured I was sick. Ben's shoulders sagged. Still, I'm glad, Ben. Glad you were with me. I know. Both of us slump in our seats. You can hear the engine pulling, the wheels rattling, and the tracks. I pull the brochure out of my hoodie. Ben reads to me. Terrorists crashed 2 planes into the Twin Towers. 2,753 people over 90 nations were killed. From over 90 nations were killed. Mainly Americans, I think, but just people, humans. Oldest victim, 85 years old. Youngest, 2. 403 were first responders. Who's first responders, Ben? Who are first responders? Firefighters, New York and Port Authority police. Closing my eyes, I lean my head back. Ben does the same. 3 more stops, he says. Then trouble. Not as bad as it could be, I think, of the man who lost his daughter. How he remembered her whole life in his heart. I think of Pop. Memories, that's the difference. The footprints were horrible. Beautiful. What if Pop only remembers horrible? Chapter 25. The subway train stops. Doors whisk open. Underground, it's another world. Shadowy, warmer than topside. Part of me wants to stay here. Ben and me shuffle forward and climb the steps. The skies get bigger and bigger, the air colder. I see Dora and Pop standing side by side. Other than Ma, I've never seen Pop stand so close to someone. Dora runs forward. How could you, Ben? How could you? On her knees, she hugs him tight. Are you all right? Not hurt? Mom, the subway's safe, Ben's relieved. Dora's more worried than angry. Pop looks mad, all rigid and stark. At least he didn't call Ma. It would have been worse if she missed work. I walk to Pop. I want to explain how I'm sorry, how I needed to go to the memorial, and how I'd do it again if it meant I'd understand him better. I say nothing. Don't smile. I just look at Pop, eye to eye. He lifts me off the ground, and I'm being held, crushed by the biggest hug. I feel warm. Pop's cheek is soft on mine. He whispers, Deja, Deja. I feel good. Feet off the ground, I feel like I can fly. Pop sets me down. He nods at Dora. Ben waves, and they both turn toward the street. Thank you, Pop shouts. Thank you. I've never heard Pop say thank you, or much of anything to somebody other than family. Pop changed, and as if to prove it, he smiles. We'll talk when we get home. The Talk, Chapter 26. The shelter room is a mess. Beds unmade, our clothes in boxes, Ray's and Lita's few toys abandoned on the floor. It's a wonder how 5 of us live here. Sitting on the double bed, Pop's suitcase between us, I can't breathe right. It feels like the room is getting smaller. There's no window to remind me there's air outside. Pop's palms cup my hand. Your mama said I should have told you years ago, but I wanted to protect you. Didn't think you were old enough. Pop's being kind, but underneath his skin, his stress, a low panic in his muscles and bones. But brave. The word pops inside my head. Pop's being brave. Now that I realize Pop's talking means more pain, I lie. I'm not old enough. Steam clicks on, the radiator pipes clang, and there's a hiss. Is that true? Seems like a girl who'd go to the... Pop swallows. He doesn't say the 9/11 memorial is old enough. What happened to you, Pop? You know what happened. Yeah, but what happened to you? Pop unsnaps the suitcase locks. A red and blue tie, 5 plastic bags, a photograph. His hands shake. He lifts the picture. Let's start with family first. 3 guys dressed in matching pants, shirts, and red and blue ties, all of them happy, their arms wrapped around each other. Lewis and Big Kelly, my coworkers, friends, Hernandez and O'Brien, and me 15 years ago, so young and stupid, James Barnes. You're not stupid. Pop smiled slightly. Maybe not, but ever since that day I feel stupid, helpless, angry. These were my friends and I couldn't save them. Pop closed his eyes. His head sags. Your head hurts? I massage his head like Ray does. After a few minutes, Pop kisses my hand. Let me try and finish. I've been delaying telling this story for a long time. Quiet, I sit beside him. Pop stares at nothing, like he's staring into a void, deeper and darker than the memorial holes. His voice scratches with emotion. We were teasing Lewis. His wife had just had a little girl, and Lewis couldn't stop talking about Mihija. Kelly kept teasing. Kids are trouble, and Big Kelly and me were sitting aside money each payday to buy a baby swing. You wind it up and it plays music and rocks the baby. Ray and Lita never had such a swing. Did I? I don't remember it. I think we've always been poor. We've just gotten poorer. Like Pop's headaches have gotten worse. We were the front desk security team. We greeted visitors, signed for packages, important mail, and most of all, welcomed the workers, thousands of them. Each day they'd swipe their badges and say hello, good morning. Then later after lunch, good afternoon, then good evening. Ordinary stuff, but we all got to know those faces, those people who worked with us in the North Tower. The sanitation workers, the computer and analysts, financial folk, the restaurant team on the 106th and 7th floor. The building was like a small city, and me, Lewis, and Kelly were the day shift, the most important shift, welcoming everybody to work. Like a home. Yes. How'd you know? You said family. In school, we talk about social groups, how we form connections, relationships. Pop hugs me. You've got a fine school. I know, friends too. I wouldn't want any of them hurt. Terrible for anyone to be hurt. Worse to remember faces. Each one special, different, unique. Funny how personalities fit faces, or maybe it's faces that fit personalities. Like Sabine, she's so kind and you can tell because her lips tilt up, ready to smile. And Ben, he wears these funny round glasses and hardly smiles, but there's a calm about his face. Calm but strong. I struggle with my words. Not like a bully strong, a safe strong, even though he isn't big at all. I know what you mean. Big Kelly was ever so gentle. Lewis just average size, but he carried himself like a bear. That's how he was that day. Strong. Protective. I slip my hand into Pop's. Pop strokes his hair and kisses me right on the nose like he sometimes does with Lita. Funny, that moment. I feel safe. I worked the North Tower for 5 years. Knew everybody, and everybody knew me. For 4 hours a day. Sorry, let me repeat that. 40 hours a week and 42 weeks a year. 52 weeks a year for 5 years adds up to 10,400 hours. You get to know folks. Pop chuckles. Me, Lewis, and Kelly made a big to-do about our hires, telling them how the elevators whizzed like lightning, how the buildings swayed in fierce winds, how the best hot dog could be bought a block away, how working in the towers meant you made it to the center of New York, the center of the world. Pop swallows, trembles. His face looks like he's waking from a nightmare. I should have told you years ago, Deja. I've been too terrified. I still see, feel, hear, smell every last bit of it. When I close my eyes, when I sleep and dream, when I see a clear blue sky. That day, the day of the attack, was the clearest day I'd ever seen in New York. Perfect blue. A day so beautiful it promised nothing bad would happen. He pulls out the bags one by one. This is my name tag. This is my walkie-talkie. On this, I hear Lewis and Kelly's call for help. See, the building shook. Bang, bang. Didn't know that a plane had hit. Only heard emergency distress calls. Lewis and Kelly took the elevator. I told them, no, too dangerous. But the building was over 100 floors. They wanted to race to help. be where they were most needed. I don't know if they ever made it to the elevator, off the elevator, ever got to the firestorm, if the elevator doors opened on desperation, or if they were trapped, elevator shut down. Elbows on my knees, Pop cries. On his knees, Pop cries. I wrap my arms around his waist, lay my head on his back. See, Deja, I don't exactly know what happened, but I imagine. Imagining makes my head ache, explode. Pow. This is my flashlight. He takes the dirty, cracked light out of the plastic bag. I grabbed it, headed for the stairwell. It was filled with smoke and dust falling like water down the stairs and over the rails. Fire, you could smell it. Even if it was a dozen stories up, the air stank. Folks were rushing down. I recognized them, even faces twisted with fear. I recognized every one of them. I was scared, Deja. The building kept moaning, chattering in pain. The electrical power went. Battery-powered lights switched on. Folks were scared but still trying to be nice, helping others. 1, 2, 4, 5, 8, 10 flights of stairs. I was exhausted, lungs aching. Still folks coming down, sounding like an elephant herd. 2 men were carrying a man in a wheelchair. Coughing, I held my jacket over my mouth. Where was I going? What did I expect to do? I don't know. I just kept thinking I should be running up to help, not out. Finding co-workers, my work family. I kept going up and up. The handrail was warming. Closer to the top, the metal rail burning hands. Then the firemen. Oh, my word, so wonderful, Deja. Racing, carrying 65 pounds of equipment, moving like warriors. A few helmet lights crisscrossed on the stairwell. A captain kept soothing, "Stay calm. Everybody down. Everybody down. Everybody down. We'll put out the fire." I recognized police, Port Authority police, too. I wanted to help them, be as brave as them. Everybody was escaping, and they were going up. 12 floors. Folks were more slowly coming down. Smudges, dirt in their hair, small burns. You could see they were disoriented, traumatized. Firemen and police kept stepping faster and faster, like they didn't need to breathe, like they were Superman, Iron Man, Captain America. Mrs. Abel from the accounting firm on the 37th floor fell against me. I staggered. I knew it was her. She always wore hats, no matter what. Church hats, I called them. Like any second she was going to sing gospel. "James, I can't move. Too scared. Help me down, James. Help an old lady down." Mrs. Abel's eyes were wild. She clutched my shirt. "It's bad up there. Bad." Then Mrs. Abel's hat got knocked off. Spinning down the stairwell, she wailed, "My hat! My hat!" And I knew then her hat covered thinning hair, how it had been a crown to make her not feel so old. The building whined. Inside it felt like there was an earthquake shaking the foundation, the walls, windows, ceilings. "Take me down, please, James." My flashlight shone on floating ash. It was petrifying, trying to move frail Mrs. Abel, feeling the press of bodies pushing down and the responders pushing up. My arms protected her some. Inch down, inch down. Pop looks upward at the ceiling. "Did you know, Deja? Stretching steel shrieks, clangs as joints shift. Something told me the tower was dying." "Come on, Mrs. Abel, we've got to move faster. Come on." She was trembling and crying. I picked her up, held her like a baby girl. Down, down, down. We squeezed down in a crunch of people, 2 steps, 1 step, trying to get to the first floor. There was a massive shudder. My arms and back got bruised. There was no sound. People, yes, screaming, complaining, but the building seems to still. Hush for half a second. It hit me. We're going to die. I don't understand. Neither do I. But there was a silence before the worst hit, before the storm. Whatever it was, floor 3. We'd made it to 3 when there was a rush and roar like a train barreling down a track. You could hear screams high above, clashes, clangs, explosions, concrete bursting, windows breaking. I started running and ran, keeping Mrs. Abel close to my heart. She was crying like a baby, and I kept saying, "Hush, it's all right," when I wanted to scream my mind and heart out. The tower was collapsing. We barely made it out alive. Smoke, rock, and ash were everywhere. Pop, I'm so sorry. He picks up another plastic bag, my wallet, so dirty even though it was in my pocket. Pop hugs me, whispering in my ear. People's belongings flew everywhere. He pulls back, taking the last bag from the suitcase. I got Mrs. Abel to an ambulance. Both towers down, just gone. Crippling smoke, pulverized concrete. This bag, he holds it high, holds some of the dust, ashes too. Why did you keep it? Reminds me it's inside me, what's inflaming my lungs. That's why you cough? I didn't know Pop had a real reason he was sick. It reminds me, too, of how worthless I am, how I couldn't protect my work family, not then, how I can't protect my family now. Look at this place. I do. It's sad looking. On the floor, Ray has some blocks scattered high. Amazing they haven't been knocked down. I can't believe Lita's left her pink pacifier on the bed. Ma nailed a blanket to the wall to cover cracks. Eyes closed, elbows on his knees, Pop wheezes. I think you're a hero, Pop. If Mrs. Abel were here, what do you think she'd say? Pop opens one eye and looks at me. Then he opens the other. How much family do you think Mrs. Abel has? How many folks do you think did you make happy? Children, grandchildren, sisters, uncles. Without you, there wouldn't be our family. Ma would have married someone different, and it wouldn't be the same. Better. How can you say that? I'm Deja, the original, one and only. You're my brave Pop. Then I give him kisses like he used to give me kisses. Hundreds of them, all over his face, his elbow, eyelids, and nose. Kisses so fast and furious, all Pop can do is laugh and laugh some more. Pop, I hesitate. I don't want to make him feel worse, but I have to know. Pop was there. Why do they hate us, the terrorists? I don't know. I've been wrestling with why. The World Trade Center was America's financial engine, the American dream, Pop rasps. Because of the terrorists, I've lost it. Can't hold a job, even when my cough is better. Closed spaces, blue skies, makes me anxious. That can't be all of it. I mean, innocent people died, families, relationships were broken, destroyed. Pop strokes my hair. I think the terrorists don't understand that. If they did, they couldn't hurt innocent people. I want to fall on the bed and cry and cry. I never should have been angry at Pop. 6 weeks at a new school has changed everything. School didn't teach me everything about 9/11. Still, I understand a lot more now. I understand why some of the enormous hurt to families, my family, the country. Pop, I don't think it's just jobs and money. I think maybe the terrorists hate us because we believe in freedom for everybody. Freedom to be who you are and have different religions. Isn't that why folks immigrate? That's what makes our society family, America, home. Even though we're all different, we're all the same, Americans. Pop's eyes brighten. You must be the smartest girl in your class. No, Pop, there's a lot of smart kids, but I'm learning. The skyline, Manhattan's skyline, has changed. You should see the September 11th memorial, Pop. Take me inside the 9/11 Memorial Museum. We should see it together. The end. What doesn't ever change by Deja Barnes. Skylines can change. Where you live can change. Even people change. Pop's new doctors gave him the right medicine, and at night we walk to the river, sit on a bench, and talk. Pop says it helps him feel better. Me too. Next year I'll be in the 6th grade. Lita stopped using her pacifier and pull-ups. Ray loves school. One day he'll be taller than me. Everyone is changing. Ma's happier. We've moved to the subsidized apartment. It'll be better than Avalon. Not great, but better. Some things never change. Family, friends, relationships, connections between people are always important. America is one big family, one big home. When the towers fell, I think everybody did their best to help and be strong, like Pop Some died. Some even got wounds you could see. Some got wounds you couldn't. Like Ben's pop. Like mine. Ben's pop came to New York for our field trip. One day, Ben's going to take me to Arizona to meet his horse. I know this is not being focused, but I'm adding it anyway. It's important. It means something, like my family eating at Sabine's house. I just don't know how to say it right. Though it's horrible, I'm glad I know about 9/11, its history, just like the past history going all the way back to America's birthday, July 4th, 1776, America has changed and not changed. America values are part of my present, of Pop's, of Sabine's, of everybody's. Miss Garcia had nightmares for months after 9/11. She says people helping people made her feel safe again, strong. American values are part of my future too. I love my American home. We are a family, not perfect, not all the same, some rich, some poor, all kinds of religions and skin colors, some born in America and some immigrating here. It's the 15th anniversary of 9/11. Americans believe in freedom. 240 years as a nation, and this belief hasn't changed. Chapter 28, Field Trip. For Deja. Author's note. September 11th, 2001. I'll never forget the horror and despair, just as I'll never forget the heroic first responders and how citizens comforted and supported one another. Still, it was never my intention to write about 9/11. My editor at the time, Lisa Baker, having watched a news report about youth born after the towers fell, asked, "Why not write a novel about 9/11? "No way. Too hard," I'd answered without hesitation. Too hard emotionally. Too hard technically to convey such history for middle grade students. Yeah, the idea of writing about 9/11 haunted me. This is true. I like doing things hard. I like writing challenging books. For months, I kept thinking about how to teach 9/11 history in a YouTube and internet age. How do I convey the devastation, yet also the triumph of America, resilience, and ideas? How do I write a book that might inspire youth to become even better citizens? While I was cocooned on a plane traveling to London, a possible approach as well as the title, Towers Falling, popped inside my head. For me, this was a sign that I should try and write this book. I knew I'd need the help of teachers researching. I discovered the Brooklyn New School, PS 146. The principal, Anna Allenbrook, and Susan Westover and Amanda Clark, the librarians, were welcoming and shared how unfathomable and traumatic it was to have witnessed through their classroom windows planes flying into the towers. Wonderful teachers also shared stories, including how in the third grade study unit of New York, their students often asked about the missing towers after seeing old photos of the New York skyline. Having conversations about 9/11, teaching its significance, and sharing memories with students had not yet officially entered their curriculum. Inspired by this school, I tried to create a book that teachers could teach, a book that didn't shy away from the tragedy, but instead gave a sense of how citizens expressing our American identity were strong, brave, and triumph over terror. The PS 146 students, so smart and supportive of one another, inspired my fictional community. With their energy, kindness, and wit, and interest in social justice, cultural heritage, and solving real-life problems, these students made me envious of their teachers. Do you know what envious means? Jealous. Deja, Ben, and Sabine were imaginary, represent every child living today who will be protecting our nation and its values and promoting peace tomorrow. After acquiring Towers Falling, Lisa took another position at Scholastic. I remained at Little Brown. Two terrific editors, Allison Moore and Alvina Ling, helped birth Towers Falling. Their feedback, attention to detail, and accessibility were extraordinary. It's been exhilarating working with two superb editors focused on creating the best book possible for youth. Any and all missteps are my own. Thank you, Alvina and Ellison. Thank you, Elizabeth Siegel and Zora Ashapir, for your skillful reads. Thank you, Victoria Stapleton, Jenny Cho, and Danielle Yadot, for launching my books to teachers and librarians. I am deeply grateful. Thank you, Michael Bure. Everyone asks what an agent does. In my case, Michael is the one who sustains me during the volatile roller coaster ride of writing, understanding my sensibility, my errors and fears. He supports me to keep writing. Thank you to Brad, husband, father extraordinaire, and trusted reader. Because of you, all things are possible. The end.